Ms. Jan Barham.
Three recent reports on climate change make clear the nature of the challenge we face, the state of the current response and the need for us to plan and act as a state and as a society to protect the quality of our environment and the well-being of our people for generations to come. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change Fifth Assessment Synthesis Report provides an integrated report on the available evidence about observed changes in climate and their causes, future climate change risks and impacts and pathways for adaptation and mitigation. It makes clear that the current global warming is unprecedented, it is unequivocal, and it is extremely likely that the dominant cause has been human-induced greenhouse gas emissions. The impacts are already being observed across all continents and oceans, including our own. Continued greenhouse emissions will create additional risks over the next century. Our cities and towns will see greater risks from heat stress, extreme weather events, coastal and inland flooding, water scarcity, sea level rise and storm surges. Our rural lands will see impacts on water availability and supply, food security and agricultural output and incomes. In the decades to come, climate change will affect the health of people, particularly those who are already most vulnerable, through reduced nutrition and impaired development caused by reduced food yields, increased injuries and deaths due to intense heat waves and extreme weather events, and changes to the duration and geographic range of infectious diseases. The Climate Council's report, Lagging Behind Australia in the Global Response to Climate Change, shows that while nations around the world are accelerating their action on climate change, Australia is falling behind and will risk undermining our progress in reducing greenhouse emissions. The repeal of the carbon price, the uncertainty around government policy, including the renewable energy target and the subsequent stalled investment in clean energy, mean that our efforts to reduce emissions are faltering at the same time that the EU, China and the United States have stepped up their work on climate action. And despite the Climate Change Authority's recommendations that we should move towards stronger emissions reduction goals of 19% by 2020 and 40% by 2030. The Australia We Love, a report on key issues affecting nature and society in Australia, a report from the Places You Love Alliance, the largest ever coalition of environment groups in this country, highlights the alarming trends in the health of our natural environment and their impact on the health of our society. The report recognises the pressures caused by habitat change, invasive species, pollution, water use and stock animals, as well as the impact of climate change. It notes that the projected changes to temperature, rainfall and conditions from climate change will see increases in the number of months of drought, the number of very high and extreme fire days, the area of land burned by bushfires annually and the cost of bushfire damage. And the 2-degree increase in global temperatures will risk destruction of the Great Barrier Reef. Global warming is happening. Climate policy in this country is lagging. The impacts of climate change will affect the places we live, the places we love, and the health of ourselves, our families, our communities, and future generations. It's a fundamental responsibility of government to formulate and give effect to policies that are desirable in the public interest. Although the notion of the public interest is a broad one and many details may be contested, some basic guiding principles would include these: that the public interest is served by ensuring that our natural environment can continue to sustain and provide for our population, and that as people who live within families, communities and societies, the public interest is served by providing conditions, including environmental conditions, that allow us to advance our collective well-being. Under these principles, any level of government must include an understanding of the impacts and risks associated with climate change into every aspect of decision-making and policy. The Greens have incorporated these principles into our approach to policy, to legislation and to our work as elected representatives across all levels of government. We can debate the merits of specific policies and their impact on climate change, but it's time that we all recognise that the magnitude of the challenge must be met with a dedicated, integrated effort towards solutions. We need action on climate change that is supported by the whole of government, that ensures the well-being of society and that protects the health of our environment for future generations.